Christian leadership is to trust people so much that they be deeply listened to, not to give them an ideology, not even a theology of ideology, but to experience, help children to experience. I'm talking about parenthood, but I'm talking about leadership, that they find an experience of life, of love, of God. So it's not putting stuff into people's heads. It's about giving them the occasion to live a deep experience where they discover who they are and the rising up of their personal consciousness. They discover who they are. Now, is this different to any form of leadership? I don't know. It's the helping those who are led to discover how precious they are, and that must means that they should be treated with preciosity, if that's a word, with deep respect and deeply listened to. So what is the information that they should receive? And that means that for a Christian, they should be given a deep vision coming from the Word, the story of Jesus, the story of how he was close to the poor. Because all leadership is to help people to become like Jesus. The leader, well, if you want to, the abbot of a Benedictine abbey, he shouldn't be just a person who knows how to build abbeys. He should be a man deeply rooted in prayer, because he is somewhere the model. Teachers shouldn't teach ideas, but they should be a model of what it is to be a disciple of Jesus. I mean, they must become somewhere a sign of Jesus. But then Jesus goes on further, and not only is the leader in communion with each one, with what that means, being in communion, he's also leading them to the place of liberation, salvation, liberation. But thirdly, he must reveal, or she must reveal, that they're ready to give their lives. Now, what does that mean? It's not necessarily that they're going to be crucified. No, giving life is to show. Well, you find it in the world of education, or with educators, that they're living or present to delinquents not for their salary, but because they love the people who are delinquents. So that to give one's life is to sacrifice certain personal ambitions. And you see, we're now talking about leaderships where the head of the bank has huge salaries. Instead of giving the salaries to everybody according to their gifts, and that's how it should be. So our world has gone mad through bad leadership. And it's not just Christian leadership. It's leadership. And I feel that frequently in our Christian vision, we've lost something about being human, what parenting is and what leadership is. That I believe a lot in leadership. I believe in good shepherding, but I believe it is a very human reality which we have to learn. So the question in itself carries a certain deviancy in it, as a Christian. But all I'd say is that grace should always perfect nature. The grace should help us to become more human, not to take us away from our humanity. The strength of L'Arche is it is very clear what the goal is at all levels. the only goal is to help people to rise up, to grow up, people with disabilities. But they can only grow up if assistants are truly entering into a relationship with them. So it's not just helping people with disabilities to rise up, but it's also helping to create bonding. So everything is about helping to create bonding. But this is a bit counterculture, and even for assistants and leaders, it's not easy. Our big difficulty is bringing that administrative and shepherding together. And each one, some people are more at ease with the administration because they like to, add up figures, and 2 and 2 make 4, and that's great. But they're maybe not so easy in accompanying assistants and walking with people with disabilities. But it's not anybody who can become a leader. You have to have formation, and so some are more administrative-minded and others are more community-minded. And you can have fathers who more turn to making money and making the house run, and you can have others, fathers who are closer to the kids and on their hands and knees. So there's a question of characteristics of the person. So but what we have to do is continually talk about these two domains. We have to have sessions for the directors about community, but also they know that they have to be competent. In L'Arche, there's this sense that we belong to each other, we've been bonded together. It's the whole vision of church. And St. Paul says that those parts of the body which are the least presentable and which are the weakest are essential, indispensable to church. So belonging is to realize that those people with disabilities that are in my community, they are precious people. We belong to each other. I'm not better than you. We're not just members together. But there's something about belonging, which is a sense that we have been called to be one and to witness to oneness. See the whole vision of Jesus, that they may be one as the church, that the world believes. And God is one, the Trinity is one, and we are called to be people of the Trinity. And it's a long road to die to one's need to prove that I'm better than you. And to come to the point where I have my gift, you have your gift. And the leader is there to be guarantee and the one who enhances or strengthens or encourages unity. Leadership in a country is to bring people together, not creating places of division, not creating situations of racism. And I say racism in a very large sense of, the goodies and the baddies, there's the rich and the poor, those who have lots of diplomas and those, it's about bringing people together and everybody finding their place. But in church, it's about how to create, like in the Catholic Church, my upsetness sometimes is people go to church, they receive the homily, they receive the sacrament, they go to Mass, but they don't meet. And so the pastor should be there, or the priest should be encouraging people after Mass to meet and to share, and not just amongst the few friends. So, because everything is about the whole of the message of Christianity is to become one. Now, there are a lot of things within me where I don't want to become one. I want to prove that I'm the best. So, but these are things where I have to become conscious of my need for power or my need for this, and I have to work at it. I need help. I need good accompaniment. Many leaders are waiting for somebody to confirm them because they're doing their own thing. this came out very clearly in an enquête, an inquiry we did with all the leaders of L'Arche in France, that they all suffered because people were being very demanding on them. But nobody was saying, you're doing a good job, and don't worry, it's okay. So what leaders are waiting for are encouragement, but also encouragement to go a little bit further. If leaders are calling people to change, they must be the first ones to change and to want to change. So that means that leaders should be conscious of where they need to grow. Because if you're teaching your children to grow well, how are you growing? I mean, these are very fundamental. And is this only Christian, or is this just leadership? I don't know. All I know is that the Christian vision should enhance and give strength through the Spirit, so that people find it easier to accept their brokenness and to talk about their brokenness and say whatever it is. To feel that they don't quite know what to do, that they're not succeeding, that they're seeking their own glory and they don't know how to get out of it. It can also be the conflicts, people that are against them, and they don't know what to do. So, I mean, leadership is necessarily crucifying, because you want people to grow, I want myself to grow, but we're confronted continually by forces of egoism, forces of evil, forces of conflict, forces of jealousy, I mean, all this mess, which is the human mess, it is there. And so leaders who are sensitive to growth, the growth of a group, the change in a group, I mean, what is particular in L'Arche is change, and how for the leader to be in harmony with change. So people are protecting. Leadership can become a protection. You hide away and then give out orders because you're scared stiff of conflict. So one of the dangers of leadership is that scaredness of conflict, that they might be attacked or criticized, and so they send down laws like that, and bishops, well, they don't know how to, haven't been taught how to do it. You become a bishop, it's like parenthood. Leadership, to be a good leader, have to be integrated into oneself, unity inside of self, in order to foster unity outside of self. It's a long road to discovering what human maturity is. But we don't talk much about human maturity. We talk about diplomas, passing exams, and once you've got the exam you think you can do it, but you can't. I mean, there's so many leaders who are terribly immature. They don't know anything about relationships, they don't know about helping the people stand up. They're scared stiff of relationship because they may be scared stiff of, they don't know how to do it, relationship.